Hello, everybody, and welcome to the elizaOS Accelerator Demo Day. Today, we're celebrating 6 incredible startups that will pitch their vision and progress to you. These teams were carefully selected from the elizaOS ecosystem as some of the most promising and innovative builders. Why these accelerators, you might ask? elizaOS has grown quickly, attracting world-class developers and incredible technical talent. But we also know that building a successful company takes much more than just coding. That's why this accelerator was created, to help the teams straighten their business skills, refine their fundraising strategy, and prepare to scale. It's about empowering technical founders with the tools and knowledge they need to succeed as entrepreneurs. This demo day is being live streamed on YouTube so that everybody can be part of it. And that's very much in the spirit of elizaOS, open, inclusive, and for everybody. We invite investors, strategic partners, and the community to interact with the teams directly in the live chat. Share your thoughts, ask questions, and even just cheer for them. You can also find additional information about the startups and their project in the descriptions of this stream. So here's how today will work. Each team will pitch for exactly 3 minutes, followed by up to 4 minutes of Q&A. So without further ado, let's get started. Please join me in giving a warm applause for our first team, Compute AI.
Hey, we're Compute, and we're the hottest infrastructure for AI, not just in Web3. I'm Dimitri, aka NetUs, and together with Jerome, we've been building the best infrastructure for AI agents, projects, and for AI training. Since we started this project, our customers have launched over 18,000 GPU workloads, which adds up to about 2 years in GPU hours. We've onboarded over 30 projects. We've had over 7,400 GPUs connect to our network, and we have 130 stakers staking roughly 25% of the token supply. We've had over 850 developers connect and over 1,400 token holders. So what are the issues with AI today? There's extreme centralization. Retail investors are completely left out. Training has become cost prohibitive, and there's no community infrastructure for any of this. So what we built is a crypto native AI infrastructure platform. We offer private GPU workloads, state-of-the-art open source AI models. We offer distributed AI training, and all of this generates revenue and buys back COM. With our private GPU models, there's over 70 models that you can run right now. They boot in roughly 3 seconds. Let me show you what that looks like. I'm going to launch a workload. This GPU is now running, and I'm the only one that has access to it. I'm going to say, make a futuristic AI avatar. We can see the GPU usage go up, and here's the final result. And by combining multiple models, you can get results like this.
Private GPUs for the most demanding AI workload. B200 GPUs running the state-of-the-art open source model. Fractionalized ownership of AI model training. These are not 3 separate tokens. We call it COM.
So for this offering, we're already 40% cheaper than the competition, and we're the only ones that accept crypto for this type of workflow. The next thing that we're offering is state-of-the-art open source models running on our API. We're running the API on B200s. So let me show you what that looks like. I'm going to tell Claude to use API Compute AI, use my API key, and use the Kimi K2 model. And so you can actually see it's using our API, and it's asking me if I can save it. And you can see right here, the model that I used is Kimi K2, not Anthropic Claude. We're launching subscriptions at $75 a month. We think there's at least 10,000 developers interested in this, and that's potentially $750,000 a month. The last thing that I'll show you is our distributed AI training platform. B200s, you can expect 50% better rewards. So let's say hypothetically we wanted to train a model, for example, for elizaOS. Users would come to our website and decide, do they want to pay Sol, USDC, or COM? Then they would go down and mint an NFT, and this NFT would guarantee their stake on the machine. And so how does it work for us? We take a performance fee, and 50% of the revenue generated will be used for buybacks. And eventually, once the model's trained, we can actually host it on our API. And so that's Compute, and we want you to also be part of the hottest platform for AI.
Dimitri, congratulations. That was great. Before starting the Q&A, I would like to introduce somebody who has been instrumental throughout this accelerator. Please welcome Darren Ball, our lead mentor. Hello, Darren.
Hey guys.
How's it going?
Very good, thanks. Good to be here.
Awesome. Would you like to kick off with the first question?
Sure. One of the things I wanted to ask you, Dimitri, how would you describe that compute is different from the other types of GPU networks that are out there? I've seen one or two other competitors specifically focused on enterprise as well. And who would you say that you're targeting specifically with your proposition as different from them?
Yeah, so the biggest difference right now is that we're the only project in Web3 that has B200s. These are the GPUs that came out essentially 2 or 3 months ago from NVIDIA, and no one else is running them. So short of XAI, OpenAI, Anthropic, no one else has them. Not in Web2, not in Web3. So I mean, and they have a really big performance boost over the previous generation. It's something like 50%. Just in performance, and then they also have significantly more memory, which lets us consolidate and run everything much more efficiently. And especially, I mean, I just said it for the AI training. What that results in once these distributed AI training networks are live, that means we're going to be able to essentially mine more rewards than anyone else on their networks.
And tell me more about the specific target audience that you're trying to bring on board to your platform versus any of your competitors.
Yeah, so we launched. We launched on AutoDef. We're one of the first ones that launched there, and yeah. So primarily our audience right now. I mean, most people. We have a lot of AI 16Z community totally reached out to us and is holding calm and is very active on our Discord. So a lot of the most active users right now are actually projects that are focused on doing things like AI agents and AI related. And we're actually running the inferencing for them. So that means we're either running an API that they can access for having the state-of-the-art open source AI models that are out there that are compatible with GPT-5, what have you. But also a lot of them are actually doing creative workflows. So generating videos like the Steve Jobs one. So generating videos and audio and essentially, I mean, image is another common workflow. So for example, I mean, there's a project called 01 that basically is generating NFTs. And so now they're having their artists be able to do the NFT collections using our AI infrastructure to generate AI art where I mean, there's some cool traits where you're not like hard coding, basically like a couple of parameters, like that the eyes are red or something like that, but it's actually in the same style, yet unique for every NFT that they generate.
Awesome. Dimitri, I have a quick follow-up question. Going back to the competitive advantage, right? It seems it really relies on performance and price, maybe. So do you think that this is something you're going to be able to maintain as you scale?
Yeah, so the way that so as opposed to everyone else, and this is like also a big differentiator with, essentially the other people offering to run GPUs for you is we specifically don't enter any long-term contracts. And so that gives us a lot of flexibility where we can essentially aggregate whether it's, from large tech companies, or it's something decentralized on Web3 or what have you, or even some data centers that we work with ourselves. We have a good relationship with Hearst, who is a big mining company. So they run mining operations. So they also have AI GPUs that they're slowly rolling out now. So we really look at all the options. And so the example that I always use to give people an idea, I mean, if you have a network of 1 million GPUs in a data center, because that's the scale of some of these data centers, what's going to end up happening is that some of this hardware goes bad statistically. A couple not full percentage points, but a couple decimal percentage points of them are going to go bad. So what happens? They send an IT guy. The IT guy goes. He has to pull this machine out, repair it, and then put it back in. But if this was part of a training network, that node, those GPUs are off the network now, and so they become available if you know how to aggregate them through the means that are there. You can actually find them for a fraction of the cost. And so, I mean, I'm not going to go into the exact numbers, but I'll say the prices that we get for our GPUs are the amortization of the actual hardware that we're running on is many years. So like the price is, would surprise you that we're able to get.
Cool stuff, Dimitri. Thank you so much, and congrats. Darren, I'll see you in a minute. And now it's time to welcome on stage the next startup, Crypto Twitter Space.
Hi, I'm Ben, building crypto Twitter space to help traders like me capture alpha from spaces. Over 800 hours of crypto spaces stream every day. The freshest intel is buried in chaotic conversations across languages, moving faster than humans can process. And you miss it unless you're in the room. And that FOMO was killing me. So I built the solution. Crypto Twitter Space is the voice AI layer. It turns live audio into trading insights. That's alpha before it hits the timeline. Here's how it works. Agents work to discover and deliver what matters most. If you're a trading platform, you can plug into our API or MCP server to help your users become more informed about the assets in front of them. Or if you're human, you can get one of our fully customizable reports. That's hours of chaos distilled into minutes. It's like having a wiretap across crypto's entire narrative. We built this prototype, and now here's the first big result. Using elizaOS, we're creating a live stream spaces newscast on Binance Square, the media platform for the world's largest crypto exchange. This type of production leans into my unfair advantage. I spent a decade plus in Hollywood, where I studied film at USC and edited shows like MTV's The Real World and music videos for Lil Wayne. Binance isn't just validation of the value we provide, it offers the one thing that startups need most, attention, and we're uniquely positioned to capitalize. This is just the beginning. Today, spaces. Tomorrow, every podcast, video, live stream. We're building the voice AI layer as core infrastructure for traders and platforms, and the cornerstone of AGI. Think of it this way. How smart can AGI be if it doesn't listen to what people are talking about? We are its ears in the market. First, step one, I'm raising 500K to take our existing prototype into production and deliver to institutional clients. That covers a 6-figure investment in Twitter enterprise access and even more into image, audio, and video models, the core pillars of our long-term growth. As a second-time founder, I treat every dollar like oxygen. No bloated team or office. I'm starting AI first. Claude is my co-founder, agents my team. Slower burn, faster sprints, and laser focus on revenue. Thanks for your time. I look forward to the conversation.
Amazing. Ben, thank you so much. I'm gonna maybe kick it off with the first question because I would like to further understand your partnership with Binance, right? Definitely, that's a great achievement. So can you maybe clarify a little bit how its structure is? It more on the technical side, more on the revenue share side, and what are you expecting as a result of your collaboration with Binance?
Yeah, just really fortunate timing. A good friend of mine happened to be named to the position of head of business development at Binance Square. And when I heard about it, just chatted him up and asked him, hey, what's your vision for what you want to bring to this? And I don't want to front run what they're planning to do, but really they want to make part of it into an active live streaming, live trading, community trading. We're seeing this all across crypto Twitter spaces. And we just got talking to, wouldn't it be cool if we could have, I don't know, like robots doing live streams? And I'm like, oh, it just happens to be, I'm in the elizaOS Accelerator, working on just things like that. So it was really just fortuitous timing. So now it's a matter of putting those ideas into production. I think the platform that elizaOS offers in terms of the characters and being able to take the data stream from our product, which is this proprietary data of Twitter Spaces, and to filter it into a real live human experience that we can share through that live stream, which is, it's an amazing platform for pretty much everyone in Twitter, in crypto Twitter, and throughout crypto entirely. So looking forward to the exposure and the fun of making it.
That's important.
Thanks, Ben. I was going to ask, you mentioned the API product. You also mentioned the human readable reports that you generate. So on the API side, Can you talk to about any validation you have with that particular product so far, based on the conversations you've already had with that segment?
Yeah, so getting our first customer who's going to be testing it out with us actually is a crypto trading training space, who specifically focuses on the Indian market. I don't know if you've heard recently, Sam Altman, who's head of OpenAI, said India is their second biggest market, likely going to be their first. And of course, part of that is the growing crypto market there as well. So you can think of the size of that opportunity, and to be able to gamify trading. And one of the things that they're looking to do is, okay, how can we help educate all these people who aren't crypto native about what are some of the things happening with some of the potential tokens or coins they may be interested in. And one of the easiest things to do for us is to say, hey, if you're looking at trading SWI, here's everything that's happening in that universe. The 16 episodes, 2 hours a piece. You can listen to them for 32 hours, or you can get an AI summary that you can pipe into all the experience that your users are having. So that's just one example. Another one we're looking at, haven't gotten there yet, but someone who is ahead of marketing for one of the larger coins. The simple thing, what are people saying about us, right? If you think about that, it's such a basic, important thing, which is locked into this crypto Twitter space that once it's said right now, it just evaporates. But that data is super, super valuable for marketers, for traders, for researchers, for people who are just trying to learn. So looking at those types of applications to get us started.
Amazing. I don't know, Darren, if you have a follow-up question. We're running out of time. If not, I think that we can let Ben go.
I think just one, maybe you can answer it in 30 seconds, Ben. Just talk to us just very briefly about your next milestone that you're working towards with this current fundraise and what you're hoping to achieve specifically with that.
Absolutely. So first and foremost, lock down the Binance production. That's one of those things where if you get that right, the amount of exposure and attention, that's the number one thing. Money follows attention. If you can get that right, every product that you have will immediately have exposure. So all the things that we want to do with an API, if we can say, hey, look, we're already in front of 1 million people and this is what it's producing, it makes the sales of that API product a heck of a lot easier. It's easier to visualize. It's easier to produce a boatload of results and to be able to take it from there. So first and foremost, let's lock that down, bring everything to production grade. That means adding evaluations. That means adding high-end models. That means all the things that you need to do, redundancies and on. And of course, the Twitter Enterprise API, which as everyone in the Eliza ecosystem knows, is not cheap.
Ben, thank you so much. I would love to keep chatting with you, but it's time to welcome on stage our next team. Please welcome Mufi.
How you doing? Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. I'm thrilled to be sharing everything that we're doing here at Mufi, which is the intelligence layer for live events. So the live events space is a rapidly growing area. It's a $200 billion serviceable market. It's growing at 13.5% annually. But the entire business is broken because it runs on disconnected data. Ticketing, concessions, loyalty, and fan engagement, they all sort of sit in these silos. And that fragmentation means that venues and brands are essentially flying blind, and you know, there's a lot of bloat in the spend. You know, brands like you know, Heineken or an LVMH, they're spending a lot of money to try and get in front of a general audience when they could be doing you know, having direct to consumer marketing and have better experiences associated with that. So it's really wasting ad spend and losing repeat customers and leaving millions of dollars, if not billions, on the table. So the solution for that is Mufi. That's where we come in, right? We built an AI-powered data layer that unifies ticketing, payments, loyalty, and fan engagement by connecting offline and online fan behavior. So we help venues and brands unlock new revenue streams and deliver better fan experiences. And the results are pretty interesting. So we've got a lot of traction at the moment. And we've worked really hard to get there. Put a lot of proof of concepts into the market early on, working directly with venues and brands, and building directly into product market fit. So we're not really leaving much to chance. Really trying to de-risk the business in that way. And so we have some data that can support this and some estimates based on the data that we have accrued. But with ticketing, we're seeing like a 2.5 times increase in repeat ticket sales. So that's really great for fan retention. Obviously, if you're a venue or promoter trying to figure out like, how can I get people back through, into the venue and give them a great experience. We're seeing, this is a really staggering number, and this is verified as it's not an estimate, it's real, which is a 65 to 75% increase in concession sales. That's huge for a venue, especially, some of these being, some of our products are pre-event purchases. So you can guarantee things and again, de-risk your event, right? And we're seeing also a 70% optimized spend for brands. And this also unlocks direct to consumer advertising, because all of the data and all of our products sit at the user level and cross-platform, right? So you can sort of bring that user across to multiple events. The business model, I mean, right now we're looking at, somewhere in the $500,000 range in terms of revenue between now and the end of the year, but we have contracts already signed that bring us to, 2 to 4 million in ARR, and this raise that we're going for here is a $2.5 million seed that's looking to get us into the $4 to $5 million ARR range by the end of 2026. Some of the revenue models are based on SaaS licensing, revenue share for NFT tokenized rewards, and data and analytics. As I said, we have some great traction. We've got 1.1 million current users. We've got about 200,000 monthly active transactions. We've got a few great point of sale partner. We've got a point of sale partner with Billfold and over 25 music venues in the United States. And 2 pipeline companies for secondary ticketing. Great team. We come from the music industry. We've done it for a really long time. Maya, our CTO, she's built a lot of payment systems, one in particular for like a ski resort or a ski, ski company, I guess, a ski conglomerate. So we have a lot of history there. And Sam was one of the guys who built out Clear. Anthony, my other co-founder, he's a touring DJ, and we worked together on music rights administration early on. So we have a lot of history together, and we've have some repeat founders here in the mix. So please join us if you want to hear more. You can reach out to us at connect@mufi.app, and you can be a part of our journey.
Thanks, Spencer. Just got one question for you, kind of a double header. But sure. What would you say that sets you apart from other existing players who've either been in the market or failed or may still be there? And particularly, what do you think stops the Live Nations and others like them in the world from kind of trying to replicate the data layer that you're building here?
Yeah, it's a great question. I would say the difference is just that a lot of people build in this space because music is, has sex appeal to it. Everybody wants to like be involved in music. It's very relatable, but it's very opaque, right? So you have a lot of issues where there are manila envelope deals that are going on, and you need sort of like relationships to even get certain opportunities. And I think a lot of people disregard how important that is, and our team has been in the music industry, deeply involved in the music industry for decades, right? So just that alone is a huge advantage, where others, I think, fail. Now you're talking about Live Nation. Obviously, Live Nation has, you know, all the connections in the world. So yeah, what's preventing them from building something like this? You know, my theory, I don't have a direct line to the CEO to ask him this, but I would imagine that a lot of it comes down to they're a super large company, and any company that doesn't start with sort of like the ethos of creating better experiences around the fan from the beginning, or for the brands, and like helping sort of like the individual players, democratizing maybe the music economy. That's certainly not Live Nation or Ticketmaster's mantra, you know? And so I don't think it will ever be a priority for them. And you know, that affects the product, right? If your mentality is, I want the end result to do this thing that helps make this system more fair, or you know, a better place for fans, if that's not cooked in from the beginning, it's certainly not going to come out in the cake. You know what I mean? So,
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That was great, Spencer. Thank you so much. Congrats. Before I welcome the next company on stage, just a quick reminder, please feel free to use the chat to interact with the teams. Make sure you ask all of your questions, or you can also contact them directly. Their contact information is in the description of this YouTube event, so please don't miss the opportunity. They are ready and they're waiting for you. That being said, please welcome on stage Soulmates.
Hi, I'm Amelia, and I'm building Soulmates. After years of building data products at Salesforce, Snowflake, and Coinbase, and then operating startups, I was able to travel to multiple continents where I always struggled to find meaningful connections, meaning people who I actually wanted to meet again. I personally became obsessed with engineering serendipity and ultimately founded Soulmates. I currently have a team of 3 Portugal-based engineers who I've shipped with before. And what I've discovered along the way is everybody is stuck in the same trap. The average person spends over 372 hours a year searching for meaningful connection. That's more than 9 work weeks poured into systems that are failing us. They create the illusion of connection, but leave us starving for what we truly want, the right person at the right time for the right reason. Take Hugo, for example. He's lived here in Lisbon his entire life with the same friends and same routines. He recently took up sailing to meet new people, but the connections he's finding feel superficial and don't match who he is today. What he wants is simple, someone nearby aligned with his current sailing interests and emotional state who he can meet with in person with ease and wants to meet them again. That's why Soulmates is building a new category of connection. We're a curated membership club that reliably engineers serendipitous real-world moments. We help you meet the right person in real life at the right time, and we're built for people who are looking for something authentic and deeper. Our solution is simple. You first message Ori, your private AI guide, who learns who you are right now, what you're exploring, and your current emotional state. Ori then goes to find a match, not based off of superficial categories like friends or love, but focuses on deep current compatibility and then lets the connection evolve naturally. Ori coordinates the time, place, and gives you a hint about why you're matched, and after you meet, it gathers feedback and provides coaching to improve future connections. We've already proven demand here in Lisbon with a 1,300-person waiting list. We've done closed betas with over 900 participants, and 88% of our matches chose to meet again, which this is our North Star. Growth is driven by member referrals and partner cohorts. Our beachhead is based here in Lisbon, which is giving us a perfect foothold to capture a $7.5 billion European market. And here's what we're going to do over the next 24 months. First, we're going to prove our model with our Lisbon lab by seeding the network of 100 members, by driving referrals and optimizing Ori, our agent. We'll then replicate the model in 2 new cities by getting 1,000 members in each, with the goal of getting 1,000 members in each city through cross-border referrals and predictive curation. And then finally, we're going to automate for scale with the goal to getting to 15,000 members, 1,500 members per city through autonomous onboarding and partner revenue. And with that, our goal is to achieve the following: Our simple subscription model gives us a clear path to getting to 4.5 million euros in annual revenue within our first 3 cities. Our moat is a self-reinforcing engine where our core action is creating AI-orchestrated introductions, and we measure our success with the second meet, which then generates 3 lasting advantages. First, a compounding data moat that makes our AI smarter. Second, a curated network effect that strengthens our community. And third, a brand that becomes the gold standard for quality connections. We're currently at an inflection point where AI is going to coordinate everything in our lives. The question is whether it replaces human connection or amplifies it. And we're building the infrastructure to ensure it amplifies it. We're currently raising 500,000 euros. Without it, we'll just be staying in Lisbon. But with it, our plan is to expand to those 3 cities with 3,000 members in each and 900K euro in ARR. So your capital will help us scale this new type of connection. So if you're interested in building a world where people like Hugo and where all of us can stop searching and stop being found, please reach out to us. Thank you.
Amelia, congrats.
Thanks.
And welcome. That was very nice.
Thank you.
I would like to ask you about traction, because you mentioned that you have a pretty interesting waiting list already, 1,300 members. And so I would like to kind of like understand what was the key to grow that waiting list. I understand that you rely a lot on referrals, right? Since your expansion model is very localized, right? So how does that work, and how do you envision that growing at scale?
Yep, so the initial way that we started building our waitlist was actually through our experiments that we've done through a number of different cities. And every single person who applies for the waiting list also puts in a referral. So we have about 85% of those folks who are on the wait list who came from an existing referral. And it's something that's encouraged when users go to apply on the wait list. It's also a big part of how we're going to be accepting members into the community. So we rely on this network effect that is a trusted members. So in order for you to be accepted into the Soulmates community, it needs to be based off of referrals. So that's a big part of our growth mechanism, and also how we're ensuring the quality of the community over time.
Makes sense for what you've got in Lisbon there. How do you see that sort of scaling as you move to the other cities that you've mentioned? Because you've talked a lot about the quality of the people that you have in there and the connections that you can make. I'd love to hear more about how you're going to keep that going as you continue to grow.
Yep. So I mentioned this in one of my earlier slides. So our main way of growing is obviously based off of the referrals, but then also based off our partner networks in those different cities. So establishing relationships with tastemakers and membership clubs in those expansion cities are really important for us. We don't see them as competitors, but actually complementary to what they're offering, because they don't do the orchestration of humans and matching. So it's actually very beneficial. And we've already established 3 partnerships here in Lisbon. So our plan is to replicate that with those tastemakers that we've already identified in our first 2 target cities.
Got it. Lorenzo, we got time for one more?
Go for it. A quick one.
I would just say, how would you talked a little bit about it, you touched on it, but it seems so critical to what you're doing. How would you compare the kind of matches that you'd be able to make with your platform versus what someone might get with Bumble for Friends, or if they use Hinge for Friends or something like that?
So what we've done at Soulmates is actually base our matches on a 7 dimensions framework, which is how we actually populate the profiles of the members within the community. We don't focus on the outcome, which I think a lot of the current status quo applications focus on, which is I'm looking for friends or I'm looking for love. We really focus on psychologically backed factors for compatibility and optimize for the relationship journey instead of the outcome. And so that's truly how relationships build over time. I think there's plenty of examples where you're friends with someone for 10 years and then it turns into something romantic and vice versa. So we're really trying to be rooted into the psychology of how humans connect rather than just trying to get to a transactional outcome.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Amelia, thank you so much for joining and for being part of the Accelerator. And now please make some virtual noise for our next team, Tapestry AI.
Awesome. Good morning. At Tapestry AI, we're building copilots for IP discovery. Creators know this screen. It represents a major roadblock to creativity we call IP friction. It's a $6 billion drag on the creator economy and diverts $3 billion in ad spend through systems like Content ID. It wastes another $3 billion in time, avoidable legal fees, and purchases of stock media. And an added pain point is that creators are using discovery tools stuck in the 1900s. So we built a three-step solution. First, a creator uploads their media into our chat interface. Second, our copilot scans every element and flags potential IP risks. And third, users can swap flagged content with unencumbered substitutes sourced from our database. I've seen this IP friction firsthand from my IP studies at Duke to structuring deals at WME for the first online stars to building creator-focused startups. And my co-founder and CTO, August, has led 100-person engineering teams at Expedia, shipping enterprise platforms used by millions. The major forces are converging fast. Three major forces. First, a public domain boom where iconic works like Mickey Mouse create massive new opportunities as their copyrights expire every year. Second, a creator explosion with over 50 million content creators growing at 13% every year. And finally, training data and generative AI tools put creators at increased likelihood of infringing underlying IP. So this means independent verification has become mission critical. These forces create a massive market. IP is a $2 trillion asset class, and the creator economy brings in $250 billion annually. And remember that lost $6 billion to IP friction? We'll look to reverse that by tapping into the $2.5 billion flowing through the public domain market every year. A market this large obviously has attractive players, but we think they're all approaching it the wrong way. The current landscape is fragmented, as you can see, and companies are either reference libraries or cudgels. We're in a category of one. We're an AI-enabled workflow that integrates directly into the creative process. We've already proven demand by building our engaged community of over 2,500 creators, and our agent validates the core problem every day, having answered hundreds of IP questions, real-world IP questions. This is a strategic top-of-funnel asset actively driving beta signups. We have a product-focused plan to win this market. Our core engine is live now, and this quarter, we're going to nail the aha moment as our Copilot enters beta. In Q4, we'll monetize by launching our self-serve tiers, which include free, creator, and pro plans, allowing us to hit our first KPI of $30,000 in monthly recurring revenue. And by next year, we'll prove scale by integrating our first API partners. And our goal is to apply these learnings from the copyrights vertical to patents next. We're raising a $2.7 million pre-seed, which will allow us to achieve these goals. Please join us. Thank you.
Hey, so just first question from me, I'll kick it off. So you talked about your focus now being on the copyrights and the public domain, and then you just hinted there kind of at patents at the very end. So I wonder if you could talk about just the bigger vision for Tapestry and where you guys are going.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, like I said, we look at copyrights as as a beachhead, a very splashy way to enter the IP world in this way with these agents. And our vision is that these agents will be able to work across all verticals of IP. And patents is a massive opportunity for us. And yeah, there are several categories in patents that just far eclipse even copyrights. So yeah.
Got it. Lorenzo.
Awesome. Kearney, I think, go ahead. You want to add anything?
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. And so our vision is that we'll be able to embed our APIs in every creative tool, and then in the future we want to make IP clearance like an invisible, seamless part of creation, and that goes across all verticals.
Yeah, got you.
I was gonna shift gears for a sec, Kearney, and I wanted to ask you about the very last slide that you show, right? You probably didn't have enough time to elaborate, so I wanted to give you a chance to explain you're raising money and what are you going to achieve with that injection of capital that you're expecting to receive? Like, what are investors going to buy exactly?
Right. So, like I said, we're looking to reach $30,000 in monthly recurring revenue. We want to launch our platform with 2 to 3 embedded API partners, and this is, as I was mentioning, on our broader vision, getting our product embedded in the creative workflow from the start. So you could imagine like a creator using Adobe, or a musician using whatever DAW they use, like Pro Tools. We want to have Tapestry AI embedded in those tools, so that creators are copyright and IP sure from the start, from the creative spark.
Got you.
Awesome.
Just on that point, last question, if we have time, Lorenzo, is just how much confidence do you have in your copyright determination? Do you, or what partnerships or kind of legal support do you need, especially to be able to do this over multiple jurisdictions and around the world?
Yeah, absolutely. It's really important. So my background is in IP law, and we've built our first agent based completely on the corpus of known IP, copyright IP. So all the copyright acts, the extensions, case law, and yeah, we want to use part of the raise as well to hire a full-time staff attorney that can ensure that we're not running afoul of any copyright laws. And then, sorry, what was the last part of that?
Well, just to understand how you might need to bolster the team as you're describing, actually, to make sure that you can be as confident as possible in the type of advice that the validation that you're offering to people.
Yeah, absolutely. So, so we did have the thought that initially we would, guarantee the results. We do see a future where these agents will be just lawyers, like personal lawyers in your pocket. But to start, we don't want to make those guarantees. We just want to make sure that the information that we're providing to creators is as close to possible, as validated as possible. Probably a better way to say that. So yeah, initially we were going to do a competence score, but we decided instead to just say, yes, this is free to use for public domain works, or no, it's not. It's still protected, right? So at the outset, we'll just use a binary judgment. In the future, we do think that there's room to like build in nuance into the recommendations that we make, the type of analysis that these agents can make, and yeah, that's the dream, that's the future.
Thank you.
Kearney, thank you so much. Congrats, great potential. I love this. So congrats and keep pushing. And now, last but not least, please welcome Volter Agents.
Thanks, Lorenzo. Hi, everyone. Meet Volter Agents, DeFi on Autopilot everywhere. The DeFi market is expected to grow from 120 to over 800 billion the next 3 years, thanks to AgentFi and regulation clarity coming to crypto. But DeFi by hand bleeds yield. There are too many steps to start, and rebalancing becomes a full-time job. More than 50% of unattended DeFi strategies end up losing money for not reacting on time. AI fixes this. How? With Volter Agents on Autopilot. Users select a strategy, add funds to launch an agent with one click, and start earning automatically. The AgentFi space is exploding, but most agents run with a limited wallet contract on one or two chains. Volter uses a cross-chain decentralized wallet powered by Lead Protocol, unlocking access to more protocols and more deal opportunities, including Bitcoin staking. Our module is simple. Free start plan to get users hooked, then credits to keep growing. On phase 2, DAO and token launch with success fees and revenue sharing, targeting 60 million annual revenue in 3 years. I'm Juan Coronado, CEO. Alejandro Rios is our CTO. We've been obsessed building on decentralized cryptography protocols for over 4 years. This year, we were selected out of more than 140 projects to be a part of the first cohort of the Core Commit program by CoreDAO. We have onboarded more than 20,000 beta testers in partnership with Lead Protocol. The Bitcoin staking strategy is live with steady 3 to 5% yield, and we have 3 more strategies ready to launch with top protocols on the biggest chains. We are raising a strategic round to get to 50,000 agents in 6 months and kickstart phase 2 to make Volter the biggest AgentFi platform across chains. If you're bullish on building the future of AgentFi with us, reach out. Thank you.
Juan, thank you so much, and welcome to the last Q&A of today's demo day. I'm going to ask you a typical question that in reality is not just like cliche. I really want to know the answer. It's actually a double question, is why you and why now, right? And just to give some context, right? This is clearly not the first time that somebody tries to launch an automated product on DeFi. So why do you think this is the right time? And why do you think you guys are the right team for this?
Yeah, that's a great question. So to your point, AgentFi, which is just the word or the intersection of agents and DeFi or even BTCFi, has no clear leader yet. And the best time is now. We spent a year building secure agent technology with Lead Protocol. We added Bitcoin support to it, and we have the team and the track record to scale it. Currently, Lead secures about 150 million in assets with over 1.4 million wallets. So actually, the best time to build this was yesterday, but the right time is now. Hope that answers your question.
If I can follow up with that, you guys talked a little bit about one of your core advantages being that you were cross-chain, and I wonder what does that translate to in terms of real return, like real benefits in terms of better risk-adjusted returns that your users would be getting from using your platform versus another one?
Yes. So what we have seen is that most AgentFi projects are focused on just one or two chains, one of them being Base, and just a handful of strategies or even just one strategy. So thanks to Lead Protocol decentralized key network, Volter agents can run cross-chain. And what happens when you can run cross-chain is that you can tap into more DeFi protocols, established DeFi protocols, and get access to higher deals. The arbitrage opportunity becomes just bigger.
Got you. Thanks. And how would you? So, when it seems like a big part of this is in terms of the growth goals that you've got on your roadmap there. it seems like a big part of this is building trust in you and your platform and your business. So is there something specific that you have in mind for how you're going to grow that community of users? Because retail investors you're focusing on, is that right?
Yes, that is correct. So we think the best way to grow AgentFi solutions and platforms, it's building community. And another way to build a community that we have seen has starting to take off, it's like having like bragging DeFi agents and having the opportunity to get access to more reward by inviting your friends, your family, even competing against other people in your inner circle. So we are doubling down on this network effect in providing a great value with great strategies that you can maximize just by spreading the word about what Volta agents are doing for you.
Got it. Thank you.
And a quick one, and it's going to be hard to summarize it in about 30 seconds, which is what we have left. But I want to ask you about the future, right? You announced that you're raising money. We don't have maybe time now to get into the details, and I want to invite potential investors to reach out directly for those details. But beyond that, how do you envision the future of Volta agents and the space in general? How do you think this is going to evolve?
Well, nobody has a crystal ball, but we see that more and more DeFi is not going to be done manually. I mean, we already have a lot of bots doing trading strategies and so on and so forth. So we see agents actually interacting with agents. And recently, I think this week, Ethereum came up with a new standard for agent-to-agent communication. So we think that in the case of AgentFi, there's a huge opportunity for us to trust on safe agents doing the stuff that we want within some limits with on-chain policies, and leave us free time to do what matters the most to us. Nobody wants to spend their whole day looking at a screen 24/7. There are better things to do. Of course, since we're building this, we have to spend a lot of time in front of screens, but eventually we want agents to take over that for us and do it in the most decentralized, secure way possible. And there's a lot of moving pieces to accomplish that. But yeah, we're bullish on agents helping us to become or to empower what we are currently doing manually.
Juan, thank you so much. Very inspiring. Congrats and good luck. And this brings us to pretty much the end of Demo Day. Before I let you go, let me start thanking people, right? Big thank, first of all, to our 6 amazing teams: Compute AI, Crypto Twitter Space, Mufi, Soulmates, Tapestry AI, and Volta Agents. You guys work hard, very hard, over the past weeks. And today, I hope we had a chance to show, the potential that you have and the potential to create real impact in the elizaOS ecosystem. For everybody watching, ding, 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 this is your last chance to interact live with the teams in the chat. Don't worry, if you want to connect later, you can find their contact information and more details about their projects in the descriptions of this YouTube event. I also want to, of course, thank the elizaOS community and Polygon for supporting this program. Of course, special thank to Rocker team for running the accelerator, especially to Stefania. You haven't seen her, but she's being, behind the scenes throughout the whole program. So thank you so much for making everything run smoothly for us and for the teams. Darren, thank you so much for joining me today, and in general for all the mentorship and guidance you're giving to the founders. And with that, we'll wrap up today's Demo Day. Thank you all for joining us. We can't wait to see what these founders will build next. I'm sure it's going to be amazing. And see you.